Hello, glad to see you again. Today you're in for a truly beautiful episode.
Make yourself comfortable, the doors are closing, and we're heading into a real underground treasure of Tashkent.
This station is considered one of the most beautiful, the Cosmonauts metro station. According to the artist's vision, being on the platform should create a sense of flight and boundless space. The Kosmonautlar station, which translates from Uzbek as cosmonauts, is one of the most richly decorated, with a wide variety of materials used. Here you'll find a Milky Way made of glowing lamps, wall panels featuring cosmonauts, and mirrors to create an effect of infinity. The station's architect, Sergo Sutyagin, who sadly passed away not long ago, admitted that he wasn't able to realize all of his ideas. But even so, what he accomplished is enough to amaze both visitors and locals. On the platform walls, which symbolize the boundless sky, there are panels with portraits of the ruler and astronomer Ulugh Beg, space researcher Konstantin Tsiolkovsky, cosmonauts Valentina Tereshkova, Yuri Gagarin, Vladislav Volkov, Vladimir Janibekov, and even one of the first mythological conquerors of the skies, Icarus. All these 14 medallions depict the stages of space exploration. An interesting detail: to add a sense of airiness and create the effect of cosmic space, the designers had to increase the ceiling height and make the columns almost twice as thin. And in order for such modifications not to affect safety, detailed calculations had to be made. It was not possible to use crystal for the column cladding, nor mirrors above the columns to give them an effect of infinity. Such fragile materials are unsafe at a busy transport hub. Or, for example, they couldn't use hard aluminum for the ceiling panels, so they used soft food-grade aluminum instead, which is why you can notice dents on the ceiling. And of course, it's a pity that the proper lighting effect wasn't achieved, because the fixtures are placed across rather than along. Share your impressions in the comments, but do it quickly, we need to hurry. The train is already arriving, and we're heading to the next station. If you're a guest in Uzbekistan, you should know that the Tashkent metro has only 3 lines: red, blue, and green. The Cosmonauts station is on the blue line, so the next station is Uzbekistan. The station is bright and fairly restrained in its decor. One interesting feature here is the cotton-shaped ceiling lamps created by the stained glass artist from Lithuania, Irena Lipien. She specialized in working with glass, and if you've seen the film about Tashkent's mosaics, this name will already be familiar to you. Just like the name of Abdumalik Bukarbayev, a specialist in unique mosaic techniques. In fact, this mural in the vestibule of the Uzbekistan station was created by him. If you're a tourist, here's something important to know. Up until November 2020, plastic tokens were used in the Tashkent metro. Now, however, you can pay for your ride with a card. The fare is 1,700 soums. They say there's Wi-Fi in the metro, but I've never used it myself. I'm sure some viewers who aren't easily impressed by beauty alone have wondered about something fundamental. What about seismic activity? How feasible is it to build a metro in a seismically active region? It's possible. The main thing is to follow the proper technology and calculations. The decision to build the metro was made in August 1971. They say this was largely thanks to Sharaf Rashidov. Having a metro in the Republic was considered very prestigious. Rumor has it that Sharaf Rashidovich appealed to Moscow for permission 18 times. And so, permission was granted, and in 1977 the first line, the Red Line, was launched, consisting of 9 stations from Almazar to Amir Temur. And, by the way, according to accounts, it is precisely First Secretary Rashidov whom we should thank for the rich and unique appearance of the Tashkent metro. They say he personally approved the design of each station. The old stations of the Tashkent metro are almost all shallow level, meaning they are located not far below the ground. Literally, you have the metro station and then the exit right there, sometimes even without an escalator. Tashkent's seismic activity reaches up to 9 points on the scale. Metro builders from Moscow, Leningrad, Belarus, Ukraine, Armenia, Georgia, and Azerbaijan came to help the Uzbek construction workers. The red and blue lines were built first. The green Yunusabad line was started in 1988, but it wasn't completed until 2001. Everything was complicated by the need to lay tunnels under canals and a lake, where there are many utilities. By the way, it's important to note that until 2018, photo and video recording was prohibited in the capital's metro in Uzbekistan. That's why, most likely, the majority of you had no idea about the beauty of the Tashkent metro. So, are you ready for a dose of aesthetic pleasure? Then give a like and subscribe for your ride, and let's keep going. I made a big film about the urban mosaics of Tashkent, where I talked in detail about the work of the Jarsky brothers, Russian immigrants who were born in France. Today, their creative legacy is studied at the best universities in Europe. If you haven't seen it, I've left a link in the description. So not only did the Jarsky brothers add color to the urban landscape of Tashkent, they also left their mark on the metro by designing the Pakhtakor station. 102 meters of floral cotton beauty on both sides. The mosaic above the stairs, made of colored smalt and depicting a running Olympian, was created by the artist Vladimir Burmakin. Regular viewers of my channel are already familiar with him. By the way, I have a special playlist on my channel for fellow beauty enthusiasts like myself. So make sure to watch this episode till the end. Welcome to the beauty playlist. By the way, Pakhtakor is an interchange station for the Red Metro line. And since the Chilanzar line was the first, it features some very beautiful stations. At the Friendship of Peoples station, there's a beautiful embossed ceiling that seems to float in the air. On the walls, there are round, empty protrusions, and only 6 of them, right in the center, have mosaics. It turns out that these used to display the coats of arms of all the republics made from colored smalt, but they were later removed. And now, let's get into some technical details. All the stations have almost identical characteristics. The length is 102 meters, the width is 18 meters, the platform width is 10 meters, and the height is up to 8 meters. Marble and granite stone blocks for the finishing were delivered to the Gazalkent marble plant from different regions of the country. At the plant, they were cut, processed, and then the finished slabs were sent to the construction site. The choice of structure, whether column or vaulted, depends on the seismic conditions, groundwater levels, and soil characteristics. Let's move further along the line. The next station is National Park, or Millibog. The National Park station seemed quite simple to me. What's interesting here are the metal panels. But the next station, Novza, is quite interesting. Novza literally translates as apple orchard. Previously, this station was named Kamza, in honor of the Uzbek poet and public figure who suffered while fighting for women's rights. There is another work dedicated to him in the vestibule, made from Florentine mosaic by Abdumalik Bukharbaev. The ceiling of the platform looks original. The lights are shaped like honeycombs. A little bit about the metro itself. There are new, modern train cars with information displays, convenient handrails, and lighting. There are also old ones. Let's keep going. The next stop will take us to one of the largest residential districts of Tashkent, Chilanzar. This station was entirely designed by a group of Latvian specialists, sculptors from the Riga Applied Arts Combine. These ceramic panels depict the people of Uzbekistan and iconic landmarks. But of course, what immediately catches the eye are the 10 magnificent ornate chandeliers. Each one is a full 5 meters in diameter. And do you see these inlays made of colored stones? They're so beautiful. This beauty for the Chilanzar station was created by the Latvian artist Yefim Risin. During the war, he was evacuated to Tashkent and later returned to make his contribution and leave his art as a legacy to Uzbekistan. And the last underground station, if you head south on the red line, is Almazar. But it's not the last one overall. The metro continues further, but the stations are above ground and were built in the 2000s. One interesting thing at Almazar, which translates as apple orchard, are these bas-reliefs. By the way, on the internet you can often find different versions, Almazar and Almazor. Both are correct. The version with O is closer to the local pronunciation, while the one with A is closer to the Russian. Previously, this metro station was named after General Sabir Rakimov, which is why you can see military themes depicted in the scenes on the columns. But in 2010, the station was renamed. So my friends, we won't be heading further south along the Red Line. There are new stations there and a ring road is being built. But from an artistic point of view, that's not as interesting for us. So we'll head north along the Red Line. As you may have noticed, the decor of the Tashkent metro stations has never been repeated. This is not surprising since the best craftsmen from different republics were invited to design each station. Every artist considered it a great honor to take part in decorating the Tashkent metro and to inscribe their name in history. Listing the names of everyone who worked on such a large project is a thankless task. After all, there is a great risk of leaving out someone well-known. Sergo Sutyagin, Piotr, Nikolai and Alexander Zharsky, Arnold Gan, Vladimir Burmakin, Irene Lepeni, Abdumalik Bukarbayev. For example, one of the renowned architects, Lev Popov, contributed to the creation of this snow-white luxurious station, Mustakilik Maidoni, or Independence Square. He designed metro systems in Moscow, Prague, Baku, and Novosibirsk, working primarily in the avant-garde style. In his creative approach, Popov called it the architecture of the lighter forms. He placed the main emphasis in the space on niches and rounded forms with lighting inside. You could say he even anticipated the modern designer's fondness for this kind of technique. In order to so skillfully blend avant-garde and Eastern flair, Lev Nikolaevich studied the architecture of Samarkand and spoke with the local residents of Old Tashkent. White Nurata marble was used for cladding the columns and walls. The station turned out so royally grand that it was even presented to the Spanish royal couple, King Juan Carlos III of Spain and Queen Sofia, during their visit to Tashkent. The ceiling is decorated with carved ganch. Usually, this work is done by hand, but since the area here is so vast, the process had to be automated. Another renowned master, Yakov Shapiro, worked on the bronze relief at the station.
The next stop is Amir Temur.
This is the very center. This is exactly where you need to go if you want to see the lattice work of the Uzbekistan hotel. Let's get out. By the way, at Amir Temur you can transfer to the Green Line. But for now, let's ride to the northern end of the Red Line. We have only 3 stations left. The next station, Hamid Alimjan, is named after the poet and literary translator who translated works by Lermontov, Pushkin, Tolstoy, Mayakovsky, Gorky, and Shevchenko into Uzbek. It was opened in 1980. And the first thing that catches your eye at this station is the luxurious stately lamps made of white Saiyan marble. They were designed by Irene Lepin. The smod for the lamps and other decorations at the station was produced at the Nieman factory in Belarus. From there, it was transported to Tashkent on a special shipment and installed directly at the station. The walls and ceiling are adorned with molded plant ornaments made from glass smalt. Such beauty was created by folk artisans. Their surnames are known, Usmanov and Shermukhamedov. And the bas-relief with the writer's portrait in the station's vestibule was created by the renowned sculptor Ilkom Jabarov. By the way, if you're planning to visit Tashkent, I've posted a list of the most beautiful stations on Telegram, so be sure to subscribe and save it. The candelabra-shaped lamps with candles at the next station, Pushkin, were also made by Lepin. And perhaps this is the station's most striking feature. According to the designer's concept, this creates a tranquil atmosphere and evokes the interiors of imperial palaces from Pushkin's era. The artist's husband, Josas Lipas, created the bronze bas-relief with the poet's portrait and muses, which is located above the staircase. And the last station on the Chilanzar line that interests us is called Silk Road in translation. Not tired yet? We've taken a walk along the red Chilanzar line and had a brief look at the blue one. I hope you managed to write down the station names, and when you visit Tashkent, be sure to check them out. Now, I suggest we switch to the Green Line. In the meantime, let me share a few interesting facts with you. The Green Line, also known as the Yunusabad Line, has only 8 stations. The Green Line looks more modest. It was completed after 1991 and was only put into operation in 2001. Yunus Rajabi is the deepest of all Tashkent stations, 24 meters. The ceilings are over 7 meters high, since the Tashkent metro is a shallow level system. Such depth created certain difficulties. Groundwater was a problem, so they had to drill 19 vertical drainage wells. Yunus Rajabi was a renowned composer. He made Eastern musical classics part of the world's cultural heritage. The platforms are adorned with columns featuring luxurious capitals and enormous chandeliers. By the way, the architect Alla Adilova, who designed this station, also worked on the Mashina Sozla station in 1987 and the Pushkin station in 1980. Therefore, if we try to differentiate the stations by their authorship, we could make a significant mistake. In those years, it was a major collaborative effort by creative teams. Very young and already renowned masters could work together or contribute individually, developing specific elements at different stations. The Abdullah Qadiri and minor stations seemed rather restrained to me. Of particular interest at Abdullah Qadiri are the chandeliers shaped like flower petals and the ceramic patterns on the columns. But the next station, if you head north on the Green Line, Bodomzor, is very interesting. Guys, my first impression was that it looked kind of cosmic, but it turned out to be nothing more than earthly. Bodomzor translates as almond garden. The author of Bodomzor is Yanshar Mansurov, who also worked on the Alisher Navoy and Hamid Alimjon stations. The futuristic column lamps imitate trees, and a floral ornament has blossomed on the walls of the vaulted ceiling. By the way, this is exactly where you should get off if you want to take a walk around the Tashkent Expo Center. Bodomzor is probably the brightest station on the Green Line, and it holds particular aesthetic interest for viewers of my channel. There are some interesting details at the next station, Shakristan. Since it was originally intended to be named after Khabib Abdullayev, a famous Uzbek geologist, the design incorporates a variety of rock types, and in the vestibule there is a portrait of the scientist and a geological map of Uzbekistan made using minerals extracted from the region. Further north, two more stations, Yunusabad and Turkestan, were opened as recently as 2020. They are bright, beautiful and modern, but lack the unique features that we all love. And for dessert, I've saved the most beautiful stations of the Tashkent Metro for you. We're returning once again to the Blue Line. There are only 11 old stations on the Blue Line that were put into operation before 1991. At the very beginning of this episode, we looked at two of them, Kosmonaftov and Uzbekistan. Let me tell you about the rest in the spirit of raising the stakes as their decorative richness increases. So here are the stations I wouldn't linger at if your time for exploring the Tashkent Metro is limited. Baruni, Chorsu, Aybek and Dustlik. For example, the last one, Dustlik, was originally named after the pilot Valery Chkalov. The concept was pretty good. The starry sky and the lighting conveyed a sense of flight. But now, the station doesn't impress at all. The same goes for the other terminal station on the Blue Line, Baruni. The only interesting thing here is the large chandeliers. Chorsu, which literally means four waters in Persian and Uzbek, is the station where the legendary bazaar is located. It's worth visiting to experience the unique atmosphere of a Central Asian market. The station itself is quite restrained. I found Aybek station to be much the same. The columns are decorated with ceramic tiles featuring oriental patterns. But that's basically it. A bit higher on my personal aesthetic scale are the stations Mashina Sozlar and Tinchlik. At Mashina Sozlar, I really liked the icy wall sconces on the columns. I just kept filming and couldn't tear myself away. Probably my love for the combination of red and blue played a part here too. Hot red marble and cold, icy sharp petals of the lamps. And even though the station's decor is restrained, I found it original. The station's chief artist is Viktor Han, the brother of Arnold Han. By the way, they worked together on painting the Kosmonaftov metro station. Tinchlik. The color scheme is calm and soothing, and this is not an accident. This is exactly the perception that artists and architects were trying to achieve. After all, Tinchlik in translation from Uzbek means peacetime, peace meaning calm. What you see on the walls is ceramics, Nurata and Gazgan marble. Well, my friends, we're getting to the most exciting part. We have 3 stations left on the Blue Line. And if you have very little time in Tashkent, these are exactly the ones I recommend you visit. The station, named after the Uzbek poet Gafur Gulyamov, looks very bold. It is visually rich. For example, these panels on the platform walls were created by the Karakalpak sculptor and ceramist Saparnias Sultan Muratov. He brilliantly combines the language of folk art with modernist and classical traditions, drawing inspiration from ancient imagery. In addition to the wall ceramic tiles, the dark emerald-colored columns stand out in this space. The next station in my personal ranking of the most beautiful stations in the Tashkent metro. And here's a coincidence. The station's design was also worked on by Saparnia's Sultan Muratov. This is the Tashkent station. According to the designer's concept, it was, in a sense, the gateway to the capital because of its location near the railway station. Above the staircase, you can see a relief created by Azad Kabibulin featuring the 1981 coat of arms of Tashkent. The ceramic capitals in shades of blue and turquoise look striking, as do these small rosettes on the ceiling. Ta-da-da-dum. If you've watched up to this point, you're about to be rewarded. I'm going to show you the most beautiful station in the Tashkent metro, according to experts and tourists. Let's go! This station is named after the Uzbek poet, thinker and statesman Alisher Navoiy. The walls of the vestibule and platform are adorned with ceramic panels depicting scenes from the poet's works. These were created by the monumental artist Chingiz Akhmarov. The station's uniqueness lies in its design. 48 domes rest directly on the columns. At that time, such a structure was used for the first time. The decoration of the domes and the panels above the escalator was done by folk craftsmen Rakimov and Mukamajonov. Alisher Navoiy station was opened at the end of 1984, with a minimal depth of just 8 meters. The ceramic panels depict well-known works by Navoiy. And by the way, in the vestibule you will also see bright blue medallions. You know what's really pleasing? That the Tashkent metro didn't end with these 29 stations. The metro lines are expanding and a large circular line is being built. Many of the new stations have already been put into operation. The Tashkent metro is included in all rankings of significant tourist attractions, and the world of the Tashkent metro is studied by architecture students as a separate topic on design. I hope you enjoyed today's tour. To make this film for you, I traveled through the most beautiful stations of the Tashkent metro and selected the most striking details. So at the very least, give me a like for the effort. And let me know in the comments which metro station you liked the most. Well, it's time for me to say goodbye. See you next time.